Welcome and thank you for joining us for this week's webinar. Today we're going to be talking about creating content for flooring retailers. So 2 weeks ago, Alex and Jeff took us through social media and the importance of having an online presence. But today we're going to be adding on that when we're talking about video content creation.
Yep. Today, we're going to talk about how you create that content that helps you achieve that online presence with things like planning techniques, the equipment that you need, and strategies for shooting, editing, and then finally sharing your content.
Let's not forget our introductions. First, we have my partner in crime, Marie, who is the senior video creator based out of Tampa Bay, Florida. She started with FloorForce in 2017 as an intern pre-acquisition and has been my guiding light through my entire Broadloom experience. Fun fact, she has a 4-year-old pet hedgehog named Dart.
That's my best friend. He's the most adorable. And we also have David, our resident video editor extraordinaire, coming to us from Salem, Oregon. And he actually joined us at Broadloom just last year, May of last year. And I'm so thankful that he is here with us because, as you guys know, we do a lot of video content and he has helped so much get so many things done. And the fun fact about him is that he plays with Legos still. He doesn't play with them, he builds them. And specifically, he enjoys the Marvel and DC Comics ones.
Yes, I am a huge Batman nerd, so we can just keep on the bat signal and keep it all flowing. We do want to invite anyone to ask any questions they have in the chat as we go through the presentation. So if you have any questions, just type it in and we'll make sure to get to them at the end of the thing.
All right, let's get into it.
Value of video.
So why is video important? Why should we care about it? Well, according to Wise Owl, people are watching an average of 17 hours of video content weekly. That's a lot of video content. There's also a 52% higher chance for people to share video content compared to any other form of content. That's over statics, over blog posts, over your web pages. And in marketing, we talk a lot about the value of word of mouth, right? Well, sharing video content can lead to new referrals, and it can kind of act as a word of mouth for your customers. Let's be realistic. Sharing a video is a lot faster. The message is communicated a lot faster than reading a blog post for 15 minutes or clicking through a web page for 10 minutes.
And people need to see and hear from you. That's one of the cool things about video is that it's not a static post. It's not a text blurb. It is something that they can actually see your face, hear your words, and connect with you on a really cool digital level. The benefit of creating many videos is that you're able to say a lot to viewers on their schedule. So you can make one video based on something, one on something else, and they can just keep scrolling through it and watching it on their own time frame. And by the time that you actually get to hear from them, they've probably watched a lot of your content and they already feel like they know you. So that way it's really easy for you to connect with them because they've already been connecting with you. Brands make all sorts of videos to speak and cater to their different audiences with different motivations and different problems that you can help them solve. So just by creating more content with more subject matter, you can really try to expand what you're actually saying with the messages that you're trying to put out there. Let's keep diving in. Let's start with pre-production. This is where we're going to start writing the script and starting to plan a lot of our ideas. We want to focus on the who, the what, and the why. We want to know who you're speaking to, what you're trying to say, and why they need to hear it. And I'm sure this is stuff that you guys use in a lot of your daily practices, but we want to make sure that those still carry over into video. We don't want to add too much fluff. We don't want to start talking about things that people don't care about. We want to make sure that the mission is staying on course. I know it sounds simple, but it's one of the things that people really forget as soon as they start trying to do this kind of stuff and they get really carried away. So we want to make sure that the video and every video you make has a very strong purpose. So planning your ideas ahead of time will give everyone a strong roadmap to where you're trying to start to where you're trying to end. So you want to make sure that you're developing your script. Like when we built this webinar, we made sure that we actually had everything all in bullet point form to make sure that we were talking about all the things that we need to do from the beginning to the end and we didn't miss anything. You can keep them as simple as bullets. Like we like to say, keep it simple, stupid. As simple as it is, it's going to be a lot easier for everyone involved if everyone knows what they're doing and nothing's getting crazy and out of hand.
Yep. And then after you have your purpose, the who, the what, the why, now you need to decide more shoot specific items. So, for example, who's going to be in it? Is it going to be you, the store owner? Is it going to be one of your employees? Because it should. Because when your customers view your video, they should be seeing you or your employees, because when they walk into your store, that's who they're going to see. It already creates that initial connection for them and familiarity, and it just makes it a little bit easier. Another thing you need to figure out is, where do you want to use your video? This means platform. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Different platforms have different formats and styles that your video needs to be compatible with. So you need to decide that now before you even pull out your camera, because that's going to dictate how you shoot your video.
Speaking of cameras, is it toy time? Can we talk about the toys?
We are at the toy time.
Yay!
So everyone's favorite part is the equipment. So let's dive right in. So we have created basically like the essential basics kit that you would need to begin creating video content. And we're going to list them out, and then we'll take a little bit of a deeper dive into each one. So the first item on the list is the one that everyone loves, the camera, right? If you've got a cell phone in your pocket, you're watching this webinar on your cell phone, it has a camera on it. Odds are it's got a camera on it, and odds are it's a really good camera. This is the easy way to get it done. If you feel like you're a little bit more advanced, then we do have a few actual digital camera recommendations in the video description below if you want to take that extra step. But easy out the gate, if you want to use what you have, your cell phone is a great option. Another thing that may not be on everyone's radar, but is extremely important, is a microphone. You got a message you want to say, and we want to hear it. So the easy route, a lot of people already have them, AirPods. There's a microphone already built into your AirPods. Odds are it's already connected to your phone. So use them. If you want, again, if you want to take the more advanced route, in the video description, we have linked a wireless microphone that you can plug into your iPhone or your Android, and it connects to a lapel mic that you can clip onto the collar of your talent that will be in your video. So you can hear them, no wires, a little bit more advanced, but still a little bit easy. David, what else have you got?
Ooh, lighting, another key thing that is super important for videos. So one of the nice, cool things that we can get from Walmart or Amazon is a beautiful ring light that is just a big circle that shoots a lot of light out, and it makes sure that it lights up your subject in a way where they're not just blending into the background, so that way they can really pop. You can get the same effect with a reflector, where you can take some of the light that comes down off your fluorescent bulbs above, and you can just angle it out so that way the light bounces off and pops straight onto your subject to make sure that they're still standing out. Or you can get a lighting kit. They come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. You can get them in 2, 3, 4. We do recommend the LED lighting kit, just because they are not hot. They're really easy to use. They have a lot of options. They're light, they work, and no, it's a great, easy way to set stuff up. If you don't want to get too complicated with it, I'd go back to that ring light. It just makes everything nice and simple. Another thing that we have to touch on is tripods. So if you want to use your phone, you can get a tripod that just connects straight in, so that way you can just pop in your phone. If you want to use something a little bit more advanced, there's tripods in every price range. So you can go with something that's a little bit better suited for a larger camera. If you want to like pan or tilt it around anywhere, you can go get something like that. That should be the basics.
Yeah, those are your basics tools that you should have in your video toolkit. And also, again, we want to reiterate, if you have any questions, please write them in the chat so we can get to them at the end. So now that you've got the tools in your toolkit, what's the basics on how they work? So let's start with the camera. We're going to start from the beginning again. If you have your camera, right, you should be wondering what's the best way for me to, position this. Well, ideally, you want it to be at eye level with the talent that's going to be on your video. You don't want to be looking up their nose. You don't want to be looking down at them. You want eye level because you want that connection to your customer. Other things you need to consider is how close up do you want to be? Do you want it to be waist up? Do you want it to be full body? But regardless, as a rule of thumb, try to keep it horizontal. This is the format that's most compatible with most of the social media platforms when you're going to edit your video. Unless you're specifically going to be posting this on Instagram as a reel or on TikTok as a video, then by all means, shoot it vertically. But do yourself a favor, if it's going anywhere else, shoot it horizontal. If it's going to be a square or a landscape, do horizontal. Another thing you want to keep in mind when you're positioning your camera is what's going on behind the talent. Is there something that you want to see back there? Like maybe you have a beautiful sign that features the logo of your store. Show it. Why not show it? It's branding. Maybe there's something back there that you don't want your customers to see, like maybe someone's lunch is hanging out on their desk or a water bottle or something like that. Pay attention to what's going on in the background. When it comes to your cameras, regardless of if it's a phone or a fancy one that you purchase, if you leave it in automatic mode, for the most part, it should be able to compensate for the color and the lighting of the room that you're in, which is fine. Maybe if you guys request it enough, we'll be able to do a second webinar where we get a little bit deeper into settings of cameras and everything like that. But right now, we're sticking to the basics. If you are shooting on your phone, automatic should already be set on there. But we do recommend that there are 2 settings that you should go into your phone settings to change. And that's going to be your camera quality. You're going to want to change that to 4K. And your frames per second, or FPS. You're going to want that to be 30 or 60. Only because that's what's the most close to what we naturally see with our eyes in the natural world. Now, moving on to the microphone. Do yourself a favor. We've all done it. We've all made this mistake, so we're telling you not to make our mistakes. Test your microphone before you start recording. There's nothing worse than you shoot the video, you think it's amazing, you go and you watch it back and there's no audio. Test your microphones before you start recording. Another thing you want to make sure that you're doing is the position of your microphone. So if you got that lapel mic and you got it clipped on, make sure it's facing in the direction of your speaker's mouth, not to their shoulder, not to the floor. We want to hear what they're saying, not what's going on around them. Again, with what's going on around them that we don't want to hear. Is there music going on in the room? Is there a bell that dings when a customer comes in the door? Turn off the music, either deactivate the bell or put a sign on the front door. It'll kill your recording. Also, remove any loud jewelry that's close to the microphone because it will hit and we will hear it and we won't be able to hear what they're saying. So long necklaces, dangly earrings, things like that, just take them off. There was a saying that one of my teachers had in college: you can have the most beautiful video, but if your audio is terrible, it doesn't matter what your video looks like. The audio, if you have poor audio, it will kill your video because you're not communicating anything. People will skip right by it. David, what else do you have?
I also feel you on the loud jewelry part. It's just, when you go back and you try to hear the recording once you're done, and you notice that the entire take is just like this big old jingly thing the entire time, it is so distracting. So just, yeah, audio is very important. I think someone else also told me that no one ever notices good sound. They only notice bad sound.
Yes.
So like if it sounds perfect, no one will ever actually notice the difference. But if you have like a couple things wrong with it, they'll notice instantly. I do want to talk a little bit more about lighting still, as where going back to that ring light, is that some ring lights will actually have a mount for your phone where you can just drop in the the phone right into the middle of the ring light, so it just sits there perfectly. You can also put a camera lens through it. There's a big hole in the middle, so it's really simple to use. And it just keeps your light right where it should be hitting based on where the lens of the camera is. And you want to have that light and that camera positioned a certain distance between you and the subject, and you're going to know what that distance is based on when you actually get there, depending on what you're actually trying to shoot. You don't want it to get too close. You don't want it to be too far away. It's either going to get way too bright or it's going to be way too dark. There's a very happy middle ground. A lot of these lights have an adjustment to it where you can turn up the brightness or turn it down. You can also play with the color temperature and turn that up or down. Like you may have different types of bulbs in your showroom where if they're cool bulbs or neutral bulbs or warm bulbs, you just want to make sure that that light matches that color temperature. So that way you don't have part of it looking blue and part of it looking orange. The same thing works for the regular LED lighting kit if you wanted to go get something like that. A lot of these lighting kits now are coming out with much more advanced features where you can, make sure that everything's adjusted properly so that way you're not just sticking something in the back and hoping that it works. Everything is pretty adjustable, and it's super convenient to use. What she was talking a little bit about the framing and whatnot, where you want to make sure that you have all your stuff framed up properly, is that's really going to depend on where you actually set your tripod. So the tripod comes in, you can extend it out, you can make it taller, you can make it shorter. Just want to make sure that it's actually matching up. So if you have one person coming in who's a little bit taller, and then you have another person in who's coming in a little bit shorter, you want to make sure that you adjust that tripod so it still fits into their framing. The other thing you want to make sure that you do when you have your either phone or your camera is that when you attach it to the tripod, you want to make sure it's really secure. Nothing can kill your really good take worse than your camera literally falling off the tripod. And it's happened to us. It may happen to you. Just make sure that it's nice and tight so that way everything stays locked and loaded when you're actually ready to start pressing the button, and you should be good to go. Another cool thing to keep in mind while we're in the production stage is photos. Take some photos. You're already taking a whole lot of video. Take some photos. You have your subject there. They're looking good. Like, nice clothes, nice hair. Everything's all set. Take a couple snapshots with your phone, someone else's phone, a camera, whatever you got. If you have that nice sign, get them posing right next to that nice sign. Get some content to be able to add to your thumbnails for later. Get some behind the scenes photos. That way you can post it on your social media and let people know that you are a content creator and you are making stuff. This is stuff people want to see. If you have a guest, you want to make sure that you get some photos of you and the guest. You don't want to spend all this time just shooting video and then come out of it with only video clips. You want to make sure that you're capturing as much content as possible during your production stage. That being said, when you are capturing your content, don't just do one take. Take a few takes. It takes a little bit to, get to the right phrase, the right cadence, the right everything to the point where you are actually saying this the way that you want to. So do a couple intros, do a couple outros. If you're trying to do a pan or something, get a couple pans. Take as many as you want. Peter Jackson always likes to say, that was great, but we're going to do one more for luck. It may feel like, you're tired and you don't want to keep doing it, but doing those extra takes really makes a huge difference and will benefit your shoot and the post-production process a lot better. Once again, if you have any questions based on the production process, make sure to type those in and we will totally get to those. But for now, we're going to move on to my favorite part of the video creation process, post-production. I will spend hours, days, weeks, my entire adult life really just playing on my computer, trying to make a bunch of cool content in whatever way I see fit. It's one of my favorite things, and I can't wait to talk a little bit about it. But the first thing, and I have to emphasize this most importantly, is that file organization is a really big deal. You do not want to leave your files on your desktop or in your downloads folder or in some random folder or scattered all over the place. I have my project folder right here, so that way you guys can take a look if this is something you want to implement in your projects. Is I just have a big thing on my desktop labeled sample project folder, and all these folders are empty, and whenever I start a new project, I'll just copy and paste them and put them into a new project folder, so that way I have everything labeled. So I'll put all my raw in the raw folder, I'll save all my projects to the project folder, audio, project elements, draft, final, photos, all that stuff. Just that way, if I ever want to come back to it, I know where it all is. It's not lost. It's not, somewhere. It's right there, and I know exactly where. When it comes to starting your edit, you're going to have to pick a video editing software. And there's a bunch of free ones, there's a bunch of paid ones. There are also a million tutorials online for how to get started with these types of things. So if you want to get a little bit better at iMovie, there's ways on how to do the tips and tricks with that. If you want to start using DaVinci Resolve, which is a free editing software that's really solid, there's tutorials on how to start from the very beginning. Like, I'm sure not everyone here has, touched editing software really, but don't worry, there are plenty of tutorials to start from people who have never touched it before, and so you can make it, yourself a working semi-professional. There's a lot of ways to do it. I use Adobe. I've used Final Cut before. Those are paid programs. There's VideoPad that you can use to edit straight on your tablet. There's Wave Video that looks a lot like Canva. There's so many different ways to do this, and it really matters on what's going to work best for you. There's also AI now. You can try AI editing software. You can take all your content and throw it at a machine, and it'll toss something back out. You can see what that looks like. It could be fun. When you actually start your edit, though, if you want to get into that, try to treat it like a puzzle. Like, I know it's going to look complicated and weird and a little frightening. The cool thing is that when you planned it all out, you kind of already wrote down what's going to happen in what order and when. Then you shot all the clips, so you already know what all those clips already are. So you're going to take your puzzle, big jigsaw box, and you're going to lay all your pieces out. You're going to get them all flipped up, and you're going to start connecting the ones that go together. You're going to take the clip that you started with, your intro clip. You're going to put it at the beginning. You're going to take your middle clip and put it in the middle. You're going to take your outro called action clip. You're going to put it at the end. You can put some graphics, some audio, all this kind of stuff, and slap it all together. And there's your video. Easy peasy. It's a lot like building the puzzle. Instead of the picture being on the box, the picture's in your brain or on the sheet that you already wrote out during your pre-production process. When you do that, make sure to, while you're making your video, make sure to use your brand style guide. Like, you have a logo, you have fonts, you have colors. Use them. Put in a nice title with your actual logo and somewhere in the video. If you're going to have a lower third trying to tell who someone is, use your font. Use your colors. That's what they're there for, and that's what's going to help you stand out as a unique company and brand versus blending into everyone else's. That is your style guide. Use it. It's fun. It's what makes you stand apart. When you're done with your video and you're all ready to press the big export button, I'm happy with the way the puzzle looks. Use a file naming structure. I've listed one right here, so that way you don't end up with something labeled for video.final.final.final.final, .realfinal, .exported final. That happens a lot. Don't do that. You're not going to like it, because you're going to try to go back and figure out which one was the actual final. And instead you're going to end up with a huge mess. I always like labeling mine with an underscore / letter, so it'd be _/A or B, C, D, all the way to Z. If I've gone all the way to Z, I've made 26 versions and I have a bigger problem. So just try to keep in mind, hey, once you get down to that end of the alphabet, that's going to be your final. Toss it in your final folder. Then you're done. Videos use a lot of storage. When you make your videos, you're going to want to offload all that stuff off your phone or off your video camera, because if you try to go back and use it for later, it's going to be full because you shot a bunch of 4K video on it. Offload it and put it on your computer. Take it and put it on a solid state drive. This is my solid state drive. It's 2 terabytes. It's this big. It's really fast and holds all my stuff. So I can just put all my projects on here and it's good to go. I know exactly where it all is. If I wanted to go make a blooper reel of all the funny things that have happened over all the different events that I've been able to shoot, I can go take that and put it at a nice, end of the year highlight reel of all the funny things that have happened. You know who you are. But I know where all those things are. You can kind of do the same thing. When you shoot stuff, you're going to end up with a lot of fun things that worked, a lot of fun things that didn't work, people smiling, laughing, goofing, some stuff that turned out really good. Save it, keep it. These are your things. You put a lot of time and money and effort and energy into these things. You don't want it lost. You may want to come back to it later. Take a clip and put it in from somewhere. Reference something that happened a long time ago, but you're not going to be able to do that if you can't find it. So keeping it all safe and secure is, the name of the game. If we're going to do all this work, we want to make sure that it's being utilized for something. Ray, do you have anything to add to post-production?
Not to post-production, but on that note, utilizing the video that you created. Let's get into that.
Boom.
Now that you created the video, it's not going to sit, it better not sit on your hard drive or sit on your phone. You need to publish and distribute it. People need to see it. So we have done some legwork and compiled the video specifications for the most popular social media sites. And we've got them here in this chart. So if there's anything you want to screenshot, this is going to be it. We recommend that you keep your videos, regardless of platform, at least 30 seconds to a minute in duration, and the length of your video. Just because LinkedIn allows you to upload a 10-minute video doesn't mean that your customer will watch a 10-minute video. Unless you're doing an interview or intentionally making a long form piece of content, that's different. But your customer is not going to watch, their attention span is not going to allow them to watch for that long. Why is that? Well, we have popular platforms like TikTok where viewers want to watch shorter and shorter video clips. As we market ourselves, we have to in turn engage with the customer faster and faster if we want to grab their attention and then keep their attention on our products, on our brand. People always joke how, goldfish have attention spans of 8 seconds, right? Well, guess what? We have it even harder because today your customers, they're only sitting for 3 to 5 seconds on a video before they do this. Boop, they scroll away and go on to the next video that's waiting for them. So that's how quickly you need to grab and keep their attention to tell them the message that you want to tell them. So again, screenshot this chart. It's got all of your video specs on there and all of the durations that those platforms allow. However, again, our recommendation is keep it short, keep it quick. Don't lose your customers. Now, once you go and you upload your video, each platform allows you to put in certain details to help the customer find your video, which David's going to go into now.
Yes, each platform has different types of tags, hashtags, and captions, and this is sort of how SEO works for video. Is on YouTube, there's a whole spot where you can add in tags. These are just cool words that you can use to relate to what you're actually trying to communicate through that video. So it can be a product, the name of your store, the area that you're in. You want to include as many tags as possible. YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world, right behind Google. So you want to make sure that when people are typing in anything that has to do with your video, you have all that stuff already written down into the tags. That way when they type in that search, it'll pop up with your content. So the better that you're able to put in those tags, the more likely someone is going to go find you. The same thing works with hashtags over social media platforms. You want to make sure that you're using just the right amount. It's just like salt. You don't want to put in too little. You don't want to put in too much. You don't want to be one of those content creators that has like 800 hashtags at the bottom of their video, and you also don't want to don't use any. You want to make sure that you're using the right amount. 10 good average amount, depends on how long they are. So you'll know kind of like based on what type of video you want to make, what are the right hashtags. Don't overdo it, don't underdo it. You can use those on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and a lot of those things are so if someone tries to search for it in a search bar, it will pop up with your content. The captions are what you're going to write down for the post. So if you want to post it on Instagram or TikTok, whatever, you're going to see that there's some options for text. You don't want to overdo those either because sometimes you won't be able to read all of it. The attention span still thing works for this as well. You want to put in just the right amount where they will read the whole thing. But you want to make sure that it's not too little, so that way there's no point in reading it anyway. You can include things such as a link to your website, your email, your phone number, a lot of different ways to get in contact with you. That's why we make these things, is that we want to make sure that while we're making them, they're for a purpose. Is that way when someone's done watching the video, you don't want them to stop watching and then be like, wow, that was cool. I'll go back to my day. You want them to feel engaged enough where they can, respond, send you an email, go to your website and search a bunch of products. Like that's the name of the game while we're all doing this, is to generate enough interest in you and your business. That way a viewer will turn into a customer. And I think that's all I had to say on it for tags and hashtags and captions. Are we ready for questions?
I believe so. If you
All
guys
right, let's
have anything,
yeah, let's
start.
turn it over to questions.
Let's go.
All right. Well, killer job for David and Marie, aka MC, from behind the camera to on your guys' screens. So much helpful and informational guidance there. Again, if you guys can follow these tips, tricks, and this structure, we promise it will 10x your video content. So I know we got a ton of questions to get through, so I'm going to shut up and we're going to get right into this. So MC, let's pull up the first one. And first off, gotta give a shout out to these two, because typically they are behind the scenes live producing these webinars, and it's typically with other talent. They not only just presented, they were doing the live production at the same time. So incredible job, killer professionals, very, very, very impressed. So MC, what is the first question that we got up? All right, do you have any tips or tricks for finding someone to record and edit for me? I know I definitely have a thought here, but I'm going to kick it to you guys first. Let's start off with MC, and then we'll go David.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good. See, always test your microphones. So David has a little bit more experience in regards to finding someone to help you. I personally would like to advocate for, if you feel up to it, try to learn these skills yourself. If it's you, or if you have an employee who shows genuine interest in it, there's definitely value in, like, an example. A customer comes in, absolutely loves the work that was done in their home and wants to thank you in person. That's a great opportunity to record a testimonial of a very happy customer and use that as content. And you don't need to call anyone. You can just pick up your phone and your microphone and do it yourself. David, do you want to share on the other side?
Yeah, there's oh, sorry, Jeff. Okay, cool. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. There's different websites you can use to try to hire somebody. The big thing I would try to make sure that you're doing is trying to find someone in your area. You don't want to go off and try to find someone that's super far away that's gonna have to drive back all the time. And you're gonna want to find someone that you can trust and has good reviews, that you can actually verify. So, trying to find some random person down the street who says that they can or cannot do something with absolutely no reviews or examples of work possible might not work out the way you want it to. So you want to make sure that you try to research the person you want to actually start doing stuff with, and try to build up that relationships. That way you can try to continue to build more of this content together. Work on the price. Try to make sure that you're actually paying for what you actually want to go get out of it. And just make sure that everyone's on the same page. Trying to get more of these videos out will be more beneficial than just having someone come in and doing one and then done. Which is why I would also say try to learn how to do some of this yourself. If you want to have someone come in and do like a nicer, higher produced video, and then try to pick up some of these smaller ones on your own, I feel like that's a really solid middle ground.
Yeah, I think you guys just hit the nail on the head on both. I'm probably going to split the difference a little bit here. So recording is going to be a lot easier than editing, right? Picking up your phone, shooting. So finding someone, again, we would recommend someone that's tech savvy and interested in social in your store. And then on the editing side, just like they mentioned, if you can find someone solid locally to shoot high quality professional, that's probably for a bigger video asset, right? Something that you're going to really want to invest in. But if it's smaller social clips and whatnot, for the shoot, I'd recommend using someone in your store. And there's also, if you go into Fiverr, you go into Upwork, if you just need someone to do it for cheap, There are tons of options there as well, and we'll include those links in the blog post. I know the video professionals are like, it's not going to be as good, but we have options for everyone. You can bring someone in-house, you can outsource someone, ton of ways to make great video content. All right, next question. Let's pull it up. Do you need an expensive camera to shoot content? I feel like you guys sort of hit on this, so maybe this is a lagging one, but let's flip it around. We're going to do David first, then MC.
I love my expensive cameras for me, but they took me a really long time to learn how to use them properly and figure out exactly why I needed that camera. So I included a camera in the description below. It is a mirrorless camera. It's a really nice intro level thing where it's going to stay quality for a really good, like, long time. It's not something that's already outdated. And it's a great starting point. So expensive, I feel like, is a relative term nowadays. Like, some of these cameras can get up to $20,000, $30,000 for a lens. Like, that's what they shoot movies with. We don't need any of that kind of stuff. You just need something that's going to be reliable, something that you can learn how to use a little bit better. Maybe something that has an option to switch out a lens in case you want to try out a different type of look. But the thing I would say is make sure that you can get something that you are going to want to learn how to use, and something that you can grow with.
All right, great. MC, what about on your side?
Yeah, exactly as I said before. If you want to do something accessible and quick, your phone is a great option. You already have it. It has a great camera already included in the phone that you've already paid for. But, will it compare quality-wise to an expensive camera? No, it really won't compare, but you do need to invest the time, as David said, to learn how to use it and use it correctly. Both of us, I'm sure, as we have learned the ropes, we both took terrible videos in the beginning when we were learning how these expensive cameras worked. And, you just need to determine where it is that you want to spend your time and money.
Yeah, and I think, MC, that little nugget there was everything. Don't go out and buy a massive and expensive camera before you just go through the process that the team just laid out. Start with your phone, see you have someone to help you do it. How's it going? Can you do it consistently? And then if you see this is really working for you, make that a competitive advantage. Your competitors are probably not investing in video the same way that you can. Attack it. So I think that's a great call out, MC. Dip your toes in the water and then slowly submerge yourself in the beautiful world of video. All right. What is the next question? Let's pull it up. What type of content should I make? Wow. Okay, so that's a fully loaded one. All right, we're just going to flip the order again, MC and then David. So MC, from your side, what content, I'm going to change this a little bit. If you were a flooring retailer, what type of content would you choose or shoot?
I would talk about myself, my store, and also my community that I'm in. People want to know that you're local. I know that when we visited stores in the past, one of the things that I admired most about many of them was how involved they were in the community. I think things like that, identifying yourself, your employees, and the impact that, or your involvement in the community, is a great source of content, and it's very consistent content as well. I think that's a great place to start.
David?
Oh, I agree with MC, but I'm going to try to add on to it. I would try to talk about your recent jobs. I would try to show the quality of work that you're actually doing, just the different types of variety and different types of places with different types of floors. Maybe talk to some of your installers and let them know, like, hey, sort of like, what type of professional practices are we doing? Try to get a little bit more inside the business so that way people can see, like, what would happen when you come to their home.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do, and again, there's always an opportunity for this, right? But you just don't want to get on camera and talk about product. Even though we love it in the flooring industry, customers want to buy from you, right, and your team, and that's why they're trusting you, not just going to some big box, right? And B, they also want to see the quality work that you're doing. But for you to get on camera and talk about a wear layer or a different feature of floors, you're not going to have as much punch there. And again, be yourself, right? That is the best asset you have, is your personality, your approachability, how you speak, how you engage. Pull on people in your store. They want to come into your store and be like, oh, that's MC. I saw her on camera. Or, oh, that's David. I saw him doing an installation. It creates this connection. And I think Brian Elias said it best at boot camp last week. You know, people want to buy from people that they know and trust. And after that, everything else is a objection that you can pretty easily navigate. So get that out there, make the content stand out, avoid the sea of sameness. You don't want to just do the same thing over and over and over again, and have fun with it. Video should be fun. Yeah, awesome there. All right, MC, what do we have up next? All right, this one is from High Plains Flooring. What is a good app to use where you can use to post on all platforms one video? I think I know what this is saying, but again, we're going to flip-flop it again. David, you're going to kick us off, and we're going to go over to MC.
So I know there's a couple apps. I don't really use a whole lot of them, simply because I like to try to cater these pieces to their individual platforms. So they're going to be a little different per thing. Like what I'm going to post for TikTok is going to be different than what I post on Facebook. What I post on YouTube is going to be different from what I post on Instagram. And this comes from video format. Like they could be like a big long rectangle. They could be a square. They could be a horizontal. Maybe I want to put in a different type of caption. Maybe I want to use some different hashtags. So I know there's a couple, like I know if you post something to like Instagram, like you can have it like link back to Facebook for some of it. But no, I try to keep them a little bit separate just because I like doing different things on different platforms. So
awesome. MC?
Yeah, I share the same sentiments with David. As we showed before the chart, you know, each platform really does have its own unique specifications, and really those are intended to cater to the different viewers or different demographics that those platforms are, you know, designed to appeal to. So it's kind of hard to have, you know, one shape fit all of them, so to speak. And you really should, you know, try as much as you can to have it fit the platforms that you intend to use it on, from, you know, how you're creating the video specs wise to, as David was saying, you know, descriptions, tags, hashtags, etc.
Yeah, I mean, look at Alex and I covered this 2 weeks ago on the how to maximize your organic social media, and we talk a lot about, you know, what content to use on which platform, and that cheat sheet that Alex and David had up during the presentation, we will have on the blog for you to use in your store. But again, if this is my video plane, right, and I'm shooting in landscape right now, and I go on TikTok or I go on Instagram, my walls are going to be here. Right. So it's just going to look bad on the platform. So you always want to make sure that you're using the right type of content on the right platform to best fit that format. So it's really important. It looks really bad when you don't. I'd say the one platform that feels pretty one-to-one and reuses a lot is Instagram Reels and TikTok. That is in that vertical format, not landscape, which is what my screen is locked into right now. But really important on that front. And just, I want to make sure I'm not totally missing the question as a whole, or if it was just misunderstood slightly. Alex also called out in the webinar 2 weeks ago, one of the platforms that we love to use is called Later. And that helps us schedule and post all this content across multiple platforms. So if you're following our instructions and it is the same format and structure on those platforms, this will make your life a breeze. And there's a ton of similar platforms like that. But the one that we love is called Later. So definitely check that one out for posting and scheduling. And then it looks like we at least have time for one more, unless anything else pops up. And I can take this one. Do you know which stores or customers use video a lot, and can you see their content? So Cameron, you were with us at bootcamp last week, and we went through a couple of great examples. So I'll re-share those as well. So again, not to, you know, put these dealers on blast, because we love calling them out. Ben Henwood and Taylor, can you please post? I always forget Ben's store, Designer Gallery, I believe, but drop the name there. Ben does really great content, really focuses on bringing his team and his staff to life. It's almost like he's selling like a lifestyle sort of approach of like, come in here, we're your neighbor, and we're having fun in the store. Really great engaging content and building the brand. There we go. Thank you, Taylor, Designer Home Gallery. And then the other one, he was actually at our first FloorCon, Chris Friest, and he is the Floor Doctors. And he does really great work, super creative, really good stuff. But outside of some of those, because they really focus a lot on the production side, and I know for a fact they have to be playing this out. I know that Chris had multiple scripts and he worked with a agency to do this. So that's sort of that high end that we were talking about earlier. Ben, I don't know if there's a script or not, but there's definitely a structure to what he's doing, and you feel that. It's really awesome to watch. Oh, and Jay's flooring too. Good call out, Taylor. Thanks for throwing that in there. Jay is always in front of the camera, putting himself out there, and all three of these retailers doing extremely well. And I would love to say that it is probably not just a coincidence. Beyond that, I would also look at your competitors, right? Look at what your competitors are doing in the local market. Go to their Instagram, go to their Facebook pages, maybe TikTok if they're on there. But if they're not on those other two, I doubt that they're starting in TikTok. But it's always good to see what your competitors are doing and just, put a plan together how you can level up and beat them. Because again, this content that MC and David just shared is literally a cheat sheet. I know sometimes it can look like a lot of different steps. Once you do it once or twice, it's going to be smooth sailing, and it just gets easier and easier with every iteration. And when you see those additional leads and people coming in saying, hey, I saw you guys online, it lets you know it's all worth it. So we're going to pause for another minute or two and see if anyone else has any other questions that we can help with. All right. It doesn't look like anything is coming through any of the platforms. But once again, give a massive round of applause for MC and David. Again, killer content. This is going to help so many flooring retailers. So I can't wait to see the content that you guys start to create. Also, if you're interested, shoot it over to us. We're happy to look at it. I believe someone called that out and said, would you be willing to look at some of our videos? Absolutely. We love doing that. We love helping out. So please feel free to shoot it to the marketing team email, which is marketing@broadloom.com. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Rachel Berlin and Blake Powell are back. They're going to teach you how to throw a killer in-market event. We got a lot of requests for this. Rachel and Blake covered it last time of ways to drum up business when things are slower, and inexpensive or cheaper ways to do it. And doing in-market or at your store events is a great way to build your community network and drum up new business. So 2 weeks back here, and everyone have a happy and relaxful 4th of July. Again, thank you, MC. Thank you, David. Have a wonderful Wednesday, everyone.